Imagine going to the doctor because you have a headache, and he drills a hole in your skull to let the demons out. Welcome to ancient medicine, where your chances of survival were about the same as playing surgery with a hammer, blindfolded. Your organs? Yeah, they had no clue. Let's start with the basics. Anatomy, or, as ancient doctors saw it, guess what's inside this squishy meat sack? Take the ancient Egyptians, for example. Brilliant builders, but when it came to the human body, not so much. They thought the brain was completely useless. Yep, during mummification, they'd carefully preserve the heart, liver, stomach, even the intestines. But the brain, they'd scoop it out through the nose like cranial pudding and throw it away. Meanwhile, the heart was the real VIP. Egyptians believed it held all your thoughts, emotions, memories, basically your entire personality. Forget neurons and synapses. Your character was apparently just thumping around in your chest like a hormonal drum. Fast forward to ancient Greece, and things don't improve much. Aristotle, genius in many ways, thought the heart was a furnace that cooked your emotions, and the brain was a radiator just there to cool the body down. That's right, your brain, ancient AC unit. Because nothing says genius like thinking with your chest. And don't even get me started on the liver. Ancient Mesopotamians believed it was the center of love, fear, and courage. It was basically your emotional headquarters. Bad day? Blame your liver. Breakup? That's a liver malfunction. Honestly, with all this organ confusion, it's amazing people made it past the age of 25. The four humors, science or soup? Let's talk about the four humors. The grand theory of ancient medicine that lasted way too long, despite being based on absolutely nothing. This delightful mess was introduced by Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, which is ironic because the guy basically diagnosed everyone using medieval astrology and the personality of expired soup. The theory said your body was made up of four magical juices. 1. Blood. 2. Yellow bile. 3. Black bile. 4. Phlegm. If those sound like the contents of a cursed witch's cauldron, you're not wrong. The idea was health equals perfect balance of these fluids. Too much of one? Congratulations, you're officially ill. Feeling sluggish? That's excess black bile. Too aggressive? Clearly you've got an overload of yellow bile. Sneezing too much? That's just your phlegm levels going rogue. And if you're too cheerful, you probably need less blood, obviously. So how did doctors treat this chaos of humors? Simple. They removed stuff. Bleeding, vomiting, purging, anything to get your juices back in check. Had a cold? Time for a hot enema. Feeling feverish? Let's drain a pint of blood from your ankle. Basically, ancient healthcare was a smoothie bar that hated you. Treatment methods that belonged in horror films. Okay, if you're squeamish, now's your chance to run, because ancient treatments weren't just wrong, they were straight up horror movie material. Let's start with a fan favorite, trepanation. This involved drilling a hole in your skull to cure everything from headaches to seizures to demonic possession. You had a bad dream? Boom! Power drill to the cranium. And no, there were no painkillers. Your anesthetic was usually alcohol, screaming, and maybe passing out halfway through. Next up, leech therapy. Doctors believed that sucking out your blood could treat everything. Acne, fatigue, heartbreak, taxes, who knows? So they'd slap a bunch of slimy, blood-sucking worms on your face, arms, legs, wherever you dared to have symptoms. Feeling lightheaded? Probably because you were literally running out of blood. And let's not forget ancient enemas. These were all the rage in Egypt, Greece, and later Europe, except instead of warm water, they used mixtures of honey, wine, goat fat, and sometimes lizard guts inserted with hollow reeds. If you're thinking that sounds wildly unsanitary, you're absolutely right. But in ancient medicine, the motto was, if it burns, it's working. Need a surgical procedure? Hope you like screaming. Because most surgeries were done with zero anesthesia, dull knives, and a whole lot of blind faith. Broken bone? They'd reset it by yanking until you passed out. Toothache? Just rip it out with pliers. Cataracts? Some genius thought poking your eye with a needle would fix it. And shockingly, people still kept going to these doctors. Because, well, it was either that or die slowly in a cave. Medical theories based on vibes. At some point, ancient doctors decided they were done with logic and just started basing treatments on vibes, literal vibes. Let's start with dream diagnosis. The ancient Greeks believed that your dreams were direct messages from the gods about your health. So if you dreamt about flying, it wasn't ambition, it meant your spleen was acting up. Nightmare about drowning? Definitely your phlegm being melodramatic again. Then we had Pliny the Elder, a Roman scientist who thought epilepsy could be cured by drinking gladiator blood. Yep, fresh off the arena floor. Nothing says medical breakthrough like sipping on Chad the Barbarian's post-fight plasma. And it gets weirder. In some ancient cultures, mice brains were mashed into paste and rubbed on foreheads to cure migraines. Who needs Tylenol when you can smear rodent gray matter between your eyebrows, right? Ancient Chinese medicine believed every organ had a personality. The liver was angry, the lungs were grieving, and the heart just wanted love. It was like Inside Out, but way more literal and a lot more likely to recommend acupuncture to fix your sadness. And if you got sick, it might not even be your fault. Maybe your body was just reacting to bad weather or evil air spirits. Modern diagnosis, you have the flu. Ancient diagnosis, Mercury is angry and your pancreas is feeling it. Honestly, it's impressive how confidently they treated people with zero idea what they were doing. Accurate discoveries, total accidents. To be fair, some ancient treatments did work, but let's not pretend they meant to get it right. Most of the breakthroughs happened by pure accident, or what historians now call random success followed by overconfidence. For example, willow bark was used by ancient Greeks to treat pain. Why? No clue, but it turns out it contains salicin, which is chemically similar to aspirin. But did they isolate the compound? Nope. They just chewed on bark and hoped it wouldn't kill them. Ancient Indian doctors were the first to attempt plastic surgery. Yes, thousands of years ago, they were reconstructing noses, usually for people who'd had theirs chopped off as punishment. They did it with skin grafts and flaps, no anesthesia, and just a touch of horrifying bravery. And in ancient Egypt, there are records of surgical instruments and procedures. Were they sterilized? Nope. Were they sharp? Probably not. Did they do brain surgery using a spoon and optimism? Very likely. They even had medical textbooks filled with advice like, apply crushed beetles to open wounds. So maybe don't follow every instruction in there. What actually worked by accident? Let's give them some credit occasionally. Ancient remedies actually made sense. Take honey, for example. It was used to treat wounds. Turns out honey has natural antibacterial properties. Who knew? The same thing you drizzle on toast could save you from a medieval staph infection. Then there's garlic, used by various cultures to fight infections. Modern science later confirmed, yeah, garlic contains allicin, which can fight bacteria. So your great-great-great-great-grandpa wasn't just seasoning his illness. He was kind of onto something. And mint, turmeric, aloe vera, all used thousands of years ago. Did they know the chemistry? Nope. Did it work? Sometimes, surprisingly, yes. It was like throwing darts at a pharmacy shelf in the dark. Every now and then, bullseye. But don't get too impressed. For every honey heals wounds, there were 10 rub sheep dung on your face and pray. So the next time you complain about your doctor making you wait, just remember, at least they're not treating your anxiety with mouse brains and leeches. Smash that like button if you're thankful you weren't born in 1200 BC. And hit subscribe for more hilarious history, weird science, and cursed medical facts you'll wish you didn't know.